The trumpets rang, the choirs sang, a good grace gave the priest, and squires and pages entered there to serve the high king's feast. In those brave days, great Camelot was all with splendor crowned. Its largesse and its courtesy were both alike renowned. The best of baked and roast and brewed was served on silver trays, and flagons and decanters glowed on counters of green baize. And overhead, in silken thread, enlaced and intercrossed, Pendragon's royal banners glowed red for Pentecost. Then every knight assumed the siege assigned to him by right. Only the siege called Perilous was empty on that night. Their talk was all of chivalry, of battles won and lost, of hopes reprieved and quests achieved since last year's Pentecost. But in the midst of all their talk, of deeds and perils past, the flame on every candle leapt, and all the doors shut fast. And all the doors shut fast, and all the great high windows closed. And then there came a sudden rush of mighty winds, and then a hush, and great King Arthur rose. A strange light filled the shuttered hall, and in that light he saw an ancient man with silver hair, and with him a young knight so fair that all were filled with awe. The young knight bore nor sword nor shield. The young knight bore nor sword nor shield, but at his side there hung an empty scabbard wrought most fair, with elven skill of substance rare that would be filled ere long. The tender youth was all unknown to any in that place, save Lancelot, who had great joy to recognize his face. And Guinevere looked well upon the stranger's face so fine, and inly knew whose lineaments, whose well-loved features, traits, and tents seemed living in that line. "Fair fellowship," King Arthur said, "keep peace by my good will. We have seen many marvels bright, but by God's grace we will this night see greater marvels still." And then the old man, clothed in white, the young knight, armed in red, came boldly up to Arthur's throne, and there the old man said, "Fair king, this day I bring to you a young and noble knight. He comes of royal lineage, foretold by saint and sage, from Joseph's line and heritage, the keeper of the light. 9 generations can be told since Joseph came in days of old from Arimath to keep and hold the holy things in trust. Joseph, the fair friend of our Lord, who sailed with blessed things on board, who came, all guided by the word, to Britain's shores full fast. And by this night, so God hath willed, the siege of peril is fulfilled. The healing comes where blood was spilled, the good end comes at last." And Arthur was right glad and said, "We bid you welcome both. And let the young knight join us here, as fellow and as noble peer, in courtesy and godly fear to plight and keep his troth." And so the old man bid the young, "Come, sir, and follow me," and led the young knight swift and bold straight to the periled siege foretold, still covered in that cloth of gold, to see what he might see. And Lancelot sat to the right and moved the cloth away. And lo, was new gold lettering, clear as the light of day. "This is the siege of Galahad, the hot prince promised long, whose high deeds and accomplishment will long be told in song." And Lancelot rejoiced to see the boy he dubbed a knight, taking the place that longed to him and was his own by right. And Galahad sat in the siege with Lancelot beside, and said unto good Nacien, his tutor and his guide, "Farewell, the time is all fulfilled. Commend to me my kin, to Pelles, my good grandfather, the fisher king who waits me there, and all who dwell with him. The time will come when I return, the time so long foretold. Come woe or weal, I'll come to heal the wound he bears of old." Then Arthur came to Galahad and said, "I know right well, your coming changes many things, the rule of lands, the fate of kings, but all the weal and woe it brings, alas, I may not tell." Then up and spake the good Sir Bors, "If legends do not fail, whoever sits within this siege will have Christ as his Lord and liege, and will achieve the Grail." "And so the Grail quest begins," said Lancelot. "I ween, the advent of Sir Galahad, the keeper of the cup of God, is like the first drop of the flood that sweeps the valley clean." Then Arthur cried, "I understand! The sword is his alone. Come, Galahad, for you must see what lately came a mystery, maybe by Merlin's gramarye, the marvel of the stone." And so he took the new knight by the hand and brought him to the quay, showed him the sword set in the stone, the floating mystery. "Let all my knights stand back a while, and to your prowess yield. I know that if you draw the sword, then God will send the shield." "Will you assay?" King Arthur said. "Good knights have tried and failed." "I will assay it good, my lord. My scabbard longeth to its swords, and when I bear it forth abroad, high things will be unveiled." With that he set his hand on hilt and drew it lightly forth, and all who saw it marveled there. He swung it shining through the air, and set it in the scabbard fair, the worthiest knight on earth. "This is the sword," said Galahad, "that Balin bore of old, the fatal sword that fell knight drew, and slew his brother twinned and true, not knowing whom it was he slew, as songs and stories told. And 'twas great pity on that day, that brothers should each other slay, as the old minstrels sing, and all was for the dolorous blow that Balin gave so long ago, seizing the spear all wrought with woe, and maimed the wounded king. It was my grandsire whom he maimed. Now I turn back the sword. The very sword that strikes and rends must be the sword that makes amends. I am the one the Spirit sends to heal both land and lord." Then Arthur said to Galahad, "Sir, you are not alone. I too stood with my life unmade, and set my hand to hilt and blade. I know the burden on us laid, who draw a sword from stone."